This is the new deck, the rain chain. This is my dwarf peach. Over there is my dwarf apricot, happily living in containers. And let's see, back here I have a lot of my shaded stuff. I have some hostas and some other little shade-loving plants, some of them in the ground, some of them not. I have 4 figs back here, actually. These are new ones, just recently put in the ground. Oh, put in the containers. Since they're already leafed out, I'm putting them in the shade until they can adjust. My little dwarf cherry tree. It's called a Stella cherry. And no, this one, it's not going to give me any fruit this year, which is fine. I would have pulled them all off anyways. These are my hydrangeas. Eventually these will be moved and there will hopefully be a chicken coop back here with not that many chickens, maybe 3, 4 at the most. This is a dwarf crabapple tree. It's called Dolgo Crabapple tree, and it's very close to giving blooms. I don't know if you can see this without it being blurry, but all those are little pink flower buds that are just starting to come out. I have a little dwarf rhodie here that gives off pretty purple blooms. This is my Japanese maple. It's a dwarf Japanese maple called Aobajo. It's here because it's pretty and I like it. I have some dwarf lingonberries there and there. You see a little hosta back there. This is my little peacock heron hybrid thing. And some hosta back there underneath the cage. And that is a little a variety of flowering quince. It's not going to give me any blooms this year. It's too little. Maybe next year. My hostas have little cages over them to protect them from the girls who are over there foraging in the grass. But the cages protect them from the girls, so when the girls run into them, the heart of the plant is protected. And as they get bigger, the leaves will kind of grow up and over it. So the leaves might get damaged, but the heart of the plant will be okay. And I've actually purchased a bunch more of these, and they're going to go over a lot of my little plants. So that's the view looking towards the house there. Coming this way, we have another little lingonberry, a little winter rose. I have a little hosta back there that's getting ready. It's coming up out of the ground. A bunch of tulips and other bulbs along the fence line. I have another Japanese maple. I think that one's called Pixie. And I have my fountain. Very fond of that. I have a little rhubarb that's not doing too well. I'm going to have to figure out something to make him happy. I have this cute little planter. I planted some creeping Jenny in it. Violet, get out of the tulips. Come on. Come on. Get out of there. Thank you. Come on. Come on. There you go. Thank you. Planted some creeping Jenny, and on top is a little bird bath. I think that is especially cute. And here's another little hosta. This one definitely needs a cage over it so that Violet doesn't kill it. Here is my little peony. And I have another Japanese maple here. This one's called Katsura. I'm gonna have to do something about it to kind of help it bloom a little bit better. All the blooms are on the top. Not doing so hot down below. This is the second year it's done this, so I might have to prune it pretty heavily next year. Violet, get out of the tulips. Thank you. Thank you. This is a currant. I think this is a white currant. I have a huckleberry, very little huckleberry right there. This is a currant. This is a red currant. Got a hosta there. This one's going to get very, very large. Right now it's very, very small. Another little huckleberry, another little hosta, and another little currant. And this one is starting to get little flowers on him. This one's a black currant. This is the view of the pergola. Eventually, there will be a grape growing up and over this. On the pergola, I have 2 little hummingbird feeders there and there. But so far the hummingbirds have not found it. So I have food, I have hummingbird feeders. Now all I need are some hummingbirds. This is my serpentine weeping cherry tree. Its blossoms are all spent. They were white. Now it's left is the greenery, which is still pretty. Behind it, I have some containers. I have 2 vines. These are called Tasmanian vines. They actually give edible fruit. I've never had them before. I have no idea if they're good or not. There and there. They're very young. They will eventually grow up through. I have a little aronia plant in a little container here. This is my biggest fig tree. This is a Desert King fig. It's the only one that's in the ground. This is the fruit there and there on my Desert King with the little leaves that are starting to come out. It's just starting to wake up. There are little strawberries in the ground. There were 25. The girls have managed to dig up at least 5 of them. The ground is littered in blossoms from the fruit trees that are all around. This is a giant pear in the neighbor's tree. Not sure what those ones are back there, but they're in full blossom, full bloom, and the ground looks like it's been snowed on, which is kind of pretty. Same with the containers. I have 4 containers that are 4 foot by 4 foot. This is a little sunshine blue blueberry. I have another bigger one over there on the corner. I used to have another equally big one here, but the girls managed to kill it. They ran into it and snapped it at the base. And that is why a lot of my plants have these little, looks like hurdles around them. Jumping hurdles. Agility people kind of laugh at me in my garden because it looks like I've set up a jumping course for them. But they act as kind of a barrier for the girls so that they acknowledge them, they can see them, and not just run into them as they're running around like a bunch of stupid dogs. These are a couple of lilies that I'll have, daylilies that I'll put in the ground as soon as I get more flower hanging baskets to turn upside down and cover them with so they can grow through them and be protected. Eventually there's going to be a trellis along this wall because we're going to do an espalier fruit tree wall here. I have 2 pears, 1 apple, and they've all been cut back. This one is the apple. It's already been cut back and it's starting to sprout up so that when the trellis gets put in, I'll be able to train them to grow up along the trellis. This is one of the pears. It was the biggest, so it kind of took the biggest hit when I cut it back like that, but it's starting to come back there and there. It's going to be several years before I see any fruit from these trees. And this is the 3rd tree. This is a pear, and you can see it's starting to leaf out. All of these trees were respectable sizes. They were probably 5 to 7 feet before I hacked them back. I would have started with younger trees, but they weren't available. This is the wall of many containers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fig trees along this wall, all in containers that you see there. Anywhere you see a container, there is a fig. Here's some potatoes, potato bags, and a fig tree there in the container. Back there is a wisteria, but that is going to go to a new home. Some tulips. And there is my little baby grapevine that's starting to leaf out. That, when it gets bigger and can withstand the brunt of the girls, it will go up over there to the pergola. Some of my tulips, they do not look like tulips, but they are. They're very, very pretty. Violet. Violet, hi! So we used to have a deck here that extended probably about as far as where this patio ends here. We much prefer this current setup. Around these pavers we have some creeping thyme that hopefully the girls won't totally dig up and destroy so that they can have a chance to establish. There's also some creeping thyme along here. Back there, you probably can't see very well. I almost forgot to show off my salad bar. Got 2 containers there, kind of in shade sun mix of just greens. And girls aren't particularly fond of leafy greens, so I have a prayer of eating some of these